Hi, I'm Melissa Cobb. Come fly with AOPA. Well, we had an absolute blast during our fly-in at the Buckeye Airfair last weekend. Let's take a look.
Hey everybody, Nikki here, and I'm at the AOPA fly-in at the Buckeye Airfair at the Buckeye Municipal Airport in Arizona. We're super excited. There's awesome air shows going on, a bunch of really cool airplanes, great food, lots of entertainment. We're gonna have a great time. Let's go. Walking through the entrance, the first thing I saw was the ramp, brimming with local vendors, aviation industry leaders, and some of the most unique and eye-catching aircraft I'd seen in a long time. First, I had to walk around the ramp and check out the airshow performers' airplanes.
The Yak 50 was built in the Soviet Union in 1980.
My next stop was the AOPA exhibit hall, where aviation industry leaders, flight schools, and vendors had booths on display. I had a great time talking with everyone about the latest new tech, gear, and services. Here, AOPA members and prospective members could speak with the AOPA staff about membership, medicals, aircraft financing, the You Can Fly Foundation, and much more. Time for lunch. There were a ton of great local food trucks and vendors to choose from, but I was in the mood for a cheese quesadilla. Yum. After lunch, I attended the Pilot Town Hall with AOPA President Mark Baker, who briefed us on AOPA's latest advocacy efforts, growing the pilot population, and the Air Safety Institute's contributions to pilot education and accident reduction. In addition to the indoor exhibit area, there were also a bunch of displays outside. While checking out the outdoor exhibits, we all got a special treat. A surprise flyby by the only currently airworthy consolidated PB-4Y2 privateer. With the airshow starting, it was time to make my way to the AOPA Flightline Chalet, which was an exclusive, members-only area with food, drinks, and the best seats in the house. The nearly 2-hour show was chock full of aerobatic and entertaining performances from start to finish.
Some smoke streamers are the only modification that's been done. And Buckeye, for you, the Vanguard Squadron would love to show their appreciation to be here in the warm weather skies of Buckeye, Arizona, as they draw a heart in the sky for you, Buckeye, Arizona.
Thanks, Nikki. That looked like a ton of fun. Appreciate you walking us around so we felt like we were there. Well, if you like airshow style aerobatics, remember the AOPA Extra is up for auction, and the proceeds from that are going to benefit our advocacy efforts and other initiatives to benefit the general aviation community. So we'll drop a link down to that auction below in the description. Now, whether it's aerobatics or just going for $100 hamburger flight like I like to do, flying is just fun. And another fun aspect is learning. Either learning to fly or increasing your certificates and ratings. And we have just released the top flight schools and flight instructors regions across the country in our Flight Training Experience Awards. And Chris Moser, who is the Senior Director of Flight Training at AOPA, joins us to talk about the awards and give us the inside scoop. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks, Alyssa.
Yeah. So can you tell us what are the awards and how did you all evaluate the flight schools and the CFIs, and what kind of experience can someone expect if they go to that school or instructor?
Yeah. So basically every year we run our annual Flight Training Experience Awards survey. And it's about 10 objective questions, give or take, and one free response question. And so what we do is we take the answers that people get from those, do some statistical magic to those, and then from that, we get to the top people. And for the very, very top, we do a blind committee process. So basically we get a committee of usually about 6 or 7 experts, we'll call them, in the field. It's just people that are experienced in aviation, and they go through all the people have been identified, and they use those free response sections to pick out who we think the best are. So we've announced those. I know that you'll see the list. It's available on AOPA's website, aopa.org/FT survey. And if you were to go to one of those schools or at one of those CFIs, really what you should find is you're getting someone whose customers felt so strongly about them that they filled out this survey. So you should hopefully experience a really welcoming environment, something that's structured too for your training, and really a place that has proven themselves to their customers that's going to help you make a great experience or have a great experience in your own flight training.
Oh, that's great. And now, in addition to those 12, we've also announced a number of distinguished awards. So what's the distinguished award?
So the top, we have these regional bests, and in fact, we'll announce a national best later in April at Redwood Migration. But obviously, those aren't the only good CFIs and flight schools. We have a whole bunch of those. And so we pick out the top 1/3 of the eligible CFIs and flight schools, and they become our distinguished list. So they're the ones that have sort of risen to the top. Not to say that anybody who didn't get one couldn't be a good CFI, because obviously they can be, and there are plenty out there. But these are the ones that really reach the heights, that top 1/3 of the rankings in the results that we got.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. And
Sure.
Hey, we're going to drop a link in the description below so that everybody can go and see all the regional winners and distinguished winners and find someone near them. And then, as you mentioned, of course, we're going to announce the national top CFI and national top flight school during Redwood Migration coming up in April. All right. Well, the General Aviation Manufacturers Association released some good news this week, and that is that their shipments and billings were up over 2021. In fact, in 2022, the shipments and preliminary deliveries increased 6%, and that was up to $26.8 billion. And for all of you who want to crunch the numbers, you want to see all the data for each of the manufacturers and the aircraft segments, we're going to let you geek out. We'll drop a link in the description below so you can go find that information. Now, an aircraft that is not in the Gamma report is a new one that Sonex is still working on, and they recently gave some more hints about the aircraft. So it's going to be called the Sonex High Wing, or SH for short. It's going to be a 2-place special light sport aircraft, and it's going to be approved to do aerobatics in it with 2 people on board. So it'll be able to be used as an aerobatic trainer, which is pretty cool. It'll have the option for a BRS aircraft parachute system to be installed, and Sonex said that they hope to start delivering kits by the end of this year, or at a minimum, the tail kits. Now, they haven't released a price for it yet, but that'll be coming. So more to come from Sonex, I'm sure, later this year. Well, if you're a lot like me, you watch a lot of YouTube and daydream. For me, it's building a hangar home or these awesome DIY projects that are way beyond my abilities to do, or awesome vacation destinations and flying destinations. Well, AOPA Editor-at-Large Tom Horn and senior photographer David Toulis had the opportunity of a lifetime. They got to accompany an Air Journey flying group on a trip to the Galapagos. And I got to tell you, I'm going to have to add that onto my dream list, and you might want to do the same. Let's check it out.
Want to fly to the Galapagos? Sure you do. That's what Dave Toulis and I did last December. We joined an Air Journey trip that followed this route. Air Journey does high-end, escorted tours with pilots flying their own airplanes. There were 4 airplanes, all turbines, and 13 other travelers. I flew in a CJ3 Plus with Wally Muharski in the left seat. First stop was Cartagena, Colombia. Once there, we checked into the Sofitel Santa Clara and explored the old city with Veronica, our tour guide. The night before our next flight to Guayaquil, we had a complete flight briefing of the route and procedures we'd encounter. This leg took us over an extension of the Andes, and there were some thunderstorms, but no worries. Most of us were cruising at flight level 450.
So after 4 days and 2,400 miles, we're finally here. We're in the Galapagos. And we landed at the airport, not in our own planes because there's a $4,800 landing fee, but there's no gas there. It came in an Airbus and it tankered fuel in and out. Anyway, they brought us out to the ship. It's the Endemic. It's 135 feet long. We're not staying in a hotel. We're staying on board ship. This is Rafael Pestana.
Pesantes, yeah.
Pesantes. He's our naturalist.
Hello, hello.
University of Quito.
Correct.
He's worked with David Attenborough, knows everything. He can give you 45 minutes on any bird or anything. And so he goes on the trips with us on shore or snorkeling, and he's the one that runs the show basically.
Thank you.
What do you find the most interesting, exciting part of the experience?
The most incredible part of this business is to make every visitor to go back home with a different sense of wonder, where coexisting in harmony is something that you can see in daily basis in the Galapagos, but also with the gene of fear that is completely absent. So my goal is always to make sure that everybody goes with imperishable memories, because places like this are so unique.
Oh yeah.
On Earth. That if you can find a place where you can walk anywhere and the animals come to you instead of moving away from you is something that I say is amazing.
And if he's recognized you as his mom, you have to be nursing that little one.
My feeling so far, Galapagos, it's always different. I mean, you can probably go there 10 times and it will always be different. Last time it was in March with another Air Journey group. And we visited the western part of the islands, and on this one we were on the eastern part, and we were in December, so we get to see a lot of different things.
Let's do it. Boom. Perfect. That's the way. Coming back.
You get to see all kinds of animals that you'd never see anywhere else in the world. The iguanas, the flamingos, all sorts of seabirds.
So you see sea lions that come to your face.
Yeah,
and you see rays, and you see good array of colors, you know. And the underwater topography is incredible too. So, and that makes the trip to be so special, the combination of both activities, land and water.
How long have you been doing this?
35 years.
35 years. What'd you do with David Attenborough?
Well, guiding him in the Galapagos, you know, he was basically talking about specific natural places with a beautiful species. You know, you're welcome.
Well,
Thank you for coming.
Hey, we'll see you later. Thanks, Rafael.
Thanks to you.
All too soon, it was time to leave this magical place and return to Guayaquil to make that flight home. From the Galapagos Islands, Tom Horn, AOPA pilot.
Hey, Tom and David, I tell you, that looked like a pretty tough assignment you all had.
It was rough. It was rough. We got lucky. We got lucky, no two ways about it.
It was a trip of a lifetime, Alyssa, going to the Galapagos Islands, and we had Air Journey to thank for that. It was
Air
great.
Journey is a high-end escorted travel. So you take your plane, and they do all the flight planning, and so we were in on that. The only reason we got on was because two people bailed out, and so we took their place.
Can you tell us, what are the flying days like? The days and the legs, obviously there's a lot of fun to be had, but you know, what's the flying part like?
Oh, it's very controlled. There's a briefing the night before with a PowerPoint, so you know exactly the departure that you're going to get, the legs, the times, the arrival procedures. We started in Stewart, Florida.
Yeah.
First stop was Cartagena, Colombia.
Cartagena.
Flew over Cuba. So we flew from Cartagena to Guayaquil, Ecuador, got on an airliner out to Galapagos, and then the company that runs the boat that we stayed on picked us up, put us in Zodiacs, and we were taken to the boat. We didn't stay in a hotel. The boat was the hotel. But it was swanky. It had everything.
It was really nice.
Cool. I can tell you all are still on a high from that trip.
And some of the sites we saw were just, of course, world class. But
yeah.
One of the first things we did was we went snorkeling, and I was doing some underwater videography, and I felt something like tug on my fin, and I thought it was one of the pilots, you know, that were in the water behind us, but it was a sea lion.
Yep.
And it was like nibbling on my swimming fin. So you're that close to the animal.
So David, I know that you're a low and slow pilot. You're Air Coupe, early Moonies, Piper Tri-Pacer pilot. So on a scale of 1 to 10, this aviation vacation getaway with business jets and turboprops, where does it fall?
Alyssa, I've got to give it a 12 or 15. It was just off the charts. You know, and the thing to remember is that GA got us there, and that's the key thing. We couldn't have got anywhere close without GA.
Yeah.
And we had a great time, and it was just a trip of a lifetime. Everyone needs to go and check it out.
Well, thanks, Tom and David. I am sure you're going to be on this high for the rest of the year. I know I would be. And hey, all of you at home, drop us a comment below if you've been to the Galapagos, and share what other things you would recommend that people do if they go visit. And if you're like me and you have an ever-growing list of dream destinations, why don't you drop your top 2 or 3 in the comments below, then we can all see them and keep adding to our list, and who knows, it may spark some future story ideas for us. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fly with AOPA. Be sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all our latest videos, including awesome adventures like what Tom and David had. Now this week we leave you with some excellent footage sent in from viewer Brandon Herzog, and it's of Alan Cuthbert's 12-year-old son Reef, and he's getting his first flight on skis in a 1946 Air Coupe. And Alan tells us that his son is a good stick and that he'll be a 5th-generation aviator if he chooses to become a pilot. All right, Reef, ready to go. Well, be sure to send in your favorite flying videos at the link in the description. You just might see them on an upcoming show. And As always, if you're not already an AOPA pilot, we'd love for you to join us. Click the link at the end of the video to learn more.